Vuchic. Dr. Vuchic.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, what happened was that as the cities grew and the suburbs grew, there was a great need to provide faster rapid transit on the regional basis, much longer than the subways. So from 1930s on, city after city were building more lines which were more diametrical, going from one suburb through center city with several stations usually in the center and then out to the other side. That happened in many cities. In Munich, for example, they brought two bunches of branches to center city and connected and provided regular services throughout the day. The ridership went from 150,000 a day to 600 a day. A city after city then were extending stub-end lines to around center city to the through lines that go diametrically from one suburb through center city to the other suburb. Now we have about 24 cities which have built such connections. And that was in Frankfurt, in Paris, in Zurich, and in Philadelphia, we have one, good example. Now, what about those diametrical versus stub-end stations? Well, comparing, should one have stub-end stations with through stations, it's very drastic. The diametrical stations, diametrical lines have through stations with 2 or 4 tracks. The headways can be 2 or 3 minutes. If we have a stub-end station, it's about 12 to 20 minutes between 2 trains. So that city after city have built these diametrical lines through the city. The ridership was attracted and very successful. What about New York City and United States? Philadelphia really has a classic example where we have diametrical lines connected through center city with 4 tracks, and now having much more efficient system. Boston needs something like that also, and they've been talking about it, but just couldn't finance it yet. What about New York? When New York has these 3 major corridors, right? New Jersey Transit, Metro North, and Long Island, it would make sense to provide also travel from New Jersey to Long Island and to Connecticut and so on. Why is it not done? It's not even discussed. Here we have corridors, we have tracks, but there is no cooperation between these 3 groups. So if you try to go, you live in New Jersey, and you want to go to Long Island, it is so complicated. There is no assistance even in the station for information, so that it is so inconvenient that people living in Connecticut and working in New Jersey or any others, they're driving now, and we are not even discussing how should we make a unified network and connect these branches or facilitate transfers. So by all criteria, the diametrical lines are vastly better than stub-end lines. Actually now, I haven't found one city in the 40 years to build dead-end stations in center city except New York City. And you see New York City, the Madison station now is way over-designed. Billions have gone extra for dead-end tracks. And then the scandal with doubling the headways on Long Island lines. That should have been seen 20 years ago. This is now disaster what's happening. So diametrical lines have lower investment and lower operating costs, and they are much more convenient than stub ends. Now,
Okay.
stub end was already built in Madison. Now, if they would build another such stub end station, that would make it impossible even in the future to have some trains going from New Jersey directly into Connecticut or Connecticut to Long Island and so on. The Trans-Hudson Tunnel is our biggest national public project that is really needed to be built, but to be built so that it is used rather than stub ends of tracks.